Welcome to the new normal. You can still keep playing, just a bit different. And you can keep socializing, but keep your distance. You can even keep traveling and exploring new places. With App Gallery, you can keep doing all the things you love. So explore it.
Keep gaming, running, fighting. Keep hitting, scoring, winning.
Explore it. Explore it.
Keep dancing, singing, laughing. Keep watching, binging, sharing.
Explore it. Explore it.
Keep dating, socializing. Keep writing, chatting, posting.
Explore it.
Keep traveling, driving, flying. Keep riding, camping, hiking.
Explore it. Explore it.
Keep searching, browsing, listening. Keep shopping, keep professional.
Explore it. Explore it. Explore it. Explore it.
There's a new reality out there. So make your move and explore it with the epic apps on App Gallery.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. We welcome you all to our workshop session today. Thank you for joining us. As you know, HUAWEI Global App Innovation Contest, which is Apps Up 2022, already started. And to help you participate in Apps Up 2022, we have designed 6 workshops in total about different topics, which will help you understand how to integrate HMS SDKs in your mobile app. And today, this is our training workshop 3, where we will introduce Apps Up 2022 contest briefly with all the important details. Within this workshop, we will also introduce HUAWEI Ads Kit along with a step-by-step coding guide with 2 of the most frequently used ad formats. If you have any questions during any time, you can write in the comments below and we will take up at the end of this session. So let's get started. This is our agenda for today. First, we will talk about Apps Up 2022 introduction. Then we will look into developer merchant service, how to enable this, what are the required documents, and so on. Then later on, we will talk about HUAWEI Ads Kit introduction, followed by Ads Kit coding part. As I mentioned, we will cover splash and interstitial ad format, 2 of the most important and frequently used ad formats. Then we will have dedicated question part where we will take up all of your queries. So don't hesitate, please write your questions in the comments below and we will take up within this part. You can write at any time and we would love to answer. And then at the end, we will show you some important links in the form of QR code, which you can actually scan and do the needful. So before getting started, let me introduce myself very quickly. This is Yasir Tahir. I'm Senior Software Engineer, HUAWEI Cloud Services MEA region. I have extensive experience with native mobile app development, including both Android and iOS. I'm MBA graduate from Cardiff Met University and I did my bachelor's in computer information system from NAD Pakistan. So let's move to our first topic of today, which is Apps Up 2022 introduction. As you know, Apps Up already started from 24th of June, and this year in 2020, we have several categories for you to apply and participate. So for this, For women in particular, we have Tech Woman Award, which is worth $10,000. It's just one award. And for the students, we have three awards, each worth 5,000 US dollars. And this year we have three Best Arabic App Award, each worth $10,000. So all the winners within any of these category will also win HUAWEI App Gallery promotional resources, HUAWEI App Gallery Connect resources, and also the incentive for paid HMS Core capabilities after integrating ML, which means Machine Learning Kit. So these are some of the important dates, and you can mark your calendar. So the apps have already kicked off from 24th of June, and the registration and submission is open until 9th of October. So from 10th of October until 7th of November, the expert review phase will be there. And from 8th of November until 20th of November, public review announcement of top 30 apps, followed by the final award ceremony in December. So some of the dates are very important here, in particular 9th of October. If you're planning to participate, you can register and submit your work, which means submit your application before 9th of October. If we look at the requirement for work for apps, it's pretty simple yet very straightforward. So the first one is your app should be innovative and should be released on HUAWEI App Gallery. And the second one is your app should consume one or more than one HMS open capability or services. Now we have approximately 60 plus SDKs and a lot of APIs as a part of HMS Core. So all you have to do is you have to integrate at least one HMS SDK inside your mobile app. We already covered Analytics Kit, Map Kit, Location Kit, and today we are going to cover Ad Kit, which is part of growth or monetization related SDKs. So you can integrate any of these SDKs inside your mobile app and participate in Apps Up 2022. So that was brief introduction about Apps Up 2022. We will move forward to our next topic of today, which is Developer Merchant Service. Now, developer merchant service is something very important if you are planning to monetize out of your application. Let's say if you are planning to earn money by showing some ads, or you are planning to earn money by integrating in-app purchases inside your mobile app. So both of these are monetization or merchant related services, and for this you must have a merchant account. So as I mentioned, to access and integrate monetization based SDKs, we have to first enable merchant service. And it will take approximately maximum 2 business days for verification after making your account as merchant. So what you have to do, if I recall very quickly, first you have to register your HUAWEI developer ID, then you have to verify your HUAWEI developer ID, and then the third part is you have to enable merchant service, and there are certain steps that you must follow in order to implement developer merchant service. So what are the steps? The first one is you have to log into your HUAWEI developer website. The second one is you have to go to console. Then under the settings, you will find merchant service tab as shown in this screenshot. So this is how you will see under the setting tab, you will see merchant service. So you have to click on this. Then it will ask you certain information, like you have to provide your bank details as seen here. So bank information is needed, like the country, the bank name, branch name, SWIFT code, account name, account number, and so on. Then you have to provide your tax related information. So once you complete all of this information, you can click on the submit button. Here you have to provide your company name, country, so on, and then you can click on submit button to submit for verification. Now our team will review all the entered information, and then we will send you email once your verification is passed. The maximum time frame for this is around 2 working days. So please keep checking your email address if you're going to enable your developer merchant service today. try to keep checking your email address, and within 2 days you will get a response from our side. Sometimes the verification is failed due to certain reasons, and the reasons is maybe the bank information is not correct, or maybe the tax information is not correct. So please make sure the information that you're going to enter should be, or should be real information and should be correct. So the next topic of our today's workshop is actually Ads Kit. And as I mentioned just now, Ads Kit is part of the growth SDKs. Sorry, Ads Kit is part of monetize, generate revenue part of SDKs, where it give you an option to monetize by consuming different services as a part of HMS Core inside your application. And in particular, if we talk about Ads Kit, it is available on Android platform for high quality and personalized ads on your app. The publisher service is there, and unique advertising identifiers help you work seamlessly with third-party advertising and tracking platforms while protecting user privacy. So at Huawei, we really concerned about user privacy as well. Um, Join our open and regulation compliant ad ecosystem to earn more from your app in a faster and safer way. So there are actually multiple formats through which you can earn or monetize. But before moving forward to the formats, let me mention this very important information. AdKit actually offer high revenue for developers and high conversion for advertisers. So if we talk about developers first, a competitive revenue sharing framework is already implemented, which means the developer will get 70% while the Huawei will get 30% in 2022. We have already onboarded a lot of advertisers, let's say top 3,000 plus already onboarded, which are showing their ads through various ads formats, and we will shortly see different ads formats in our next slide. And at the same time, AdKit offer wide coverage, intelligent access to high quality traffic across all users scenarios. So that's the advantages and high revenue for developers. If we talk about for advertisers, we have very precise targeting, let's say rich data source, precise touch, high conversion rate is implemented. So if you are planning to promote something through our ad kit, you will have a really good chance to be an advertiser and get high conversion rate. At the same time, we are supporting different rich advertisement formats, and also we have some advertiser incentive schemes to support and to take your business to another level. Now, if we talk about ad kit formats, we have in total 6 major formats, starting from banner ad, then we have native ad, then we have interstitial ad, then we have rewarded ad, then we have splash ad, and at the end we have roll ads. Two of them, interstitial and splash, we will cover the coding integration of these two ads today in our workshop as well. Rest of the ad format like banner, native, rewarded, and roll, you follow our official documentation at developer.huawei.com. If you have any question regarding the implementation or regarding the platform itself, you can write to us anytime through our various channels. I will also share with you some of the important QR code at the end of today's workshop. So please scan those QR code and be a part of our community and ask question whenever you have any. So moving forward, we will see all the ad format one by one, starting with the banner ad. So banner ad is mostly an image. It is presented as a bar or a block in any portion of the screen. It can be on the top, it can be in the middle, or it can be at the bottom of the screen within the app. It actually appears in banner form as an in-app display. And this ad format is ideal for heavy traffic scenarios. Let's say the application or the screen which is frequently accessed by different users, and generally the users spend more time on those particular screens. So banner ad is more appropriate for such scenarios. Developer don't need to refresh the ad, rather the ad banner ad will refresh automatically at regular interval. So developers don't need to refresh manually. And generally, whenever user tap on a banner ad, the user is redirected to advertiser's page in most cases. However, it's up to you to define the behavior of it. So typically it looks something like this. We have the banner on the top of the screen or on the bottom of the screen or in the middle of the screen, which is generally an image which refresh by itself after regular interval. And you once user click on certain, let's say, action buttons, it navigate the user to the page, which is the website. Now the next type of ad we have is the native ads, and it can be in three different types. So native ad can be a text, an image, or a video. And native ad fits seamlessly into the surrounding context to match your app design. Let's say your application is highly customized based on custom user design and user interface. You can design the ad as per your UI UX and display the ad natively. It covers a full range of users scenario and provide high immersive viewing. As I said, it support different ad types, and when we are integrating native ad type, instead of receiving an ad ready to be displayed, actually you will receive a group of ad properties such as a title, an image, a call to action, and you will have to use them to construct a custom view where the ad is shown, because native ads is actually it give you the full look and feel of your custom UI UX. So it give you all the relevant sort of information which you can consume to display it as per your UI UX. Then the next ad format we have is the interstitial ad, and generally uh, you see such type of advertisement when you are playing a game, or maybe the user pause it or load it, or let's say he is watching a video, uh, he paused the video, or let's say for the game he moved from one level to another, or he redirected from one place to another. So these type of ads generally appear, and the ad type for this is mostly image or a video, and we will see this in our today's coding part as well, and we will cover both the image and the video part. So interstitial ads generally have a strong visual impact because it can be displayed as a full screen, and it give you a natural in-app transitions for the end users. And for the end users, for the advertisers in particularly, there is a high click-through rate through interstitial ads. The next ad format we have is the rewarded ad, and the name as the name suggests, so there is a reward after completing or viewing of this particular type of ad, and it's always in the form of a video. Provides diverse mode of entry to ads. Let's say when the ad is displayed to a user when user achieves certain level, or maybe let's say if we talk about a game and there are certain life for the users, and user is running out of some lives, he can view these ads to gain a reward, and the reward can be in the form of the user lives to play the game again, or maybe if there are some virtual currency, some bonus points, user can watch the ad video, and as a result of it they can get the bonus point. So again, it facilitates high active user engagement and higher conversion rate. The next ad format we have is the splash ads, and usually it can be in the form of static image, GIF image, or a video. And as the name suggests, it is displayed when the app is launched. So the app will be automatically closed, and the app home screen will be displayed after the display of the splash screen. And we will cover this ad format in our today's coding part as well. This is the best ad format if you want direct brand exposure. Usually the images are displayed for 3 seconds and videos are displayed for 5 seconds. It does support cost per thousand CPT and cost per mile CPM bids. Then we have roll ads, which can be in the form of image or a video. So there are three type of roll ads: pre-roll, mid-roll, post-roll. Pre-roll is displayed before the video content. Mid-roll is in between the video content, and post-roll is displayed after the video content. Generally plays from 15 to 30 seconds. You can set the playback duration as required. The goal for this type of ad is to increase the app download and user engagement. If we talk about bid types, it does support CPM and cost per click CPC. So these were 6 different type of rich advertisement formats available for both developers and advertisers, through which there are various benefits for both of these groups. So for developers, we have higher revenue, and for the advertisers, as we saw earlier, we have precise targeting and high conversion, right? Again, if you have any questions, you can write in the comments below and we will take up at the end of this session. You can write your question at any time during our workshop and we would love to answer you at the end. Now, in order to integrate the ad kit, there are certain steps that you must follow first, and we will see them shortly. The first one is you have to accept or you have to sign the HUAWEI Ad Publisher Service Agreement. And in order to sign this, the steps are pretty simple. Log into your HUAWEI Developer Console. Once you log in, you will land to App Gallery Connect. There you will find one option called Publisher Service in App Services category. If no publisher service card is displayed, you can click on upper right corner to add the publisher service card. So then you have to read the Add Publisher Service Agreement. If you agree, you have to select the box. I confirm that I have read. It is always recommended to go through the terms and condition and the agreement before you formally sign it. And once you click, let's say, submit, the agreement takes effect immediately. You can also see the signed agreement in my account. So if you have signed the service agreement, you can view the signing record under my account and also download the agreement. So let's say you navigate again to HUAWEI Publisher Console. Let me zoom it a bit. So you already navigated to HUAWEI Ads Publisher Console. Under my account, there are many options right here. You have to click on my account and there you will see agreement signing record. So the agreement and the sign date when you actually formally signed it, and there is an operation also available which through which you can download the signed agreement. So that's the first step. Then the next is you have to add an app in HUAWEI Ads Publisher Console. Now, why you need to add an app? Because you cannot create an ad ID, ad slot ID, and for this ad slot ID, you must have an app. So first, what we will do is we will add app in HUAWEI Ads Publisher Console. Now, do not confuse these two things. We already saw earlier and we will see in our coding part today as well. You have to create your app or add your app inside a project on AGC, which is App Gallery Connect, to consume different HMS core services, whether it be map, location, ad, analytics, so on. So that's one part. Now for the ads in particular, we have something called Ads Publisher Console. There you have to create an app as well inside this Ads Publisher Console in order to create ad slot ID. So what are the steps? Again, first, if you have already have a Huawei developer account, you have to sign in with it. Select publisher service as seen in the screenshot. So here under the monetize services, you will publish a service. You have to click on it. So after clicking on this, you will navigate to this dashboard. Here you will see an option called add app. So you have to click on this add app option. Now it will show you something like this, where it will ask you certain information. At the same time, it will automatically fetch certain information from your AGC. So what you have to do is you will select the source as app gallery. In name, you will select the name as a drop list. This drop down list will appear from the AGC. So first you have to create or add an app inside a project on AGC. Then you have to come here and add an app for ads publisher console. Then you have to select the type, which is Android lowercase. It will automatically fetch certain information like package name, app ID, released on app gallery or not. On shelf means it is already released. And then it will show you some URL as well. Here you have to enter your SHA 256 fingerprint certificate fingerprint, which we already covered in our previous workshops as well, and which we will cover in our today's workshop as well. Again, if you have any questions, you can write in the comments below. Once you submit or once you enter all the information, you can click on the submit button and your app will be added inside Huawei Ads Publisher console. So finally, it will look something like this. This is your app name. This is the app ID. These are the units which we haven't created yet. We will see it shortly. Now, this is the status of the app. Either it is released or not released. This is the app status, active, inactive, last update time. And then we have certain options or operations available. The first one is add unit, which means we can add by clicking on this, we can add slot ID. So that's the second step that we have to follow. Now, how to add slot ID? It's pretty simple. From the Huawei Ads Publisher console, click My Apps and under the app that you want to create ad for, you can click add unit in the operation column of an app, something like this. Now here it will show you a different screen where you have to select the ad format. We already gone through the different ad formats. So if you are planning to integrate, let's say, banner ad, you have to select banner. If you are planning to integrate interstitial ad, you can select interstitial ad, and so on. So once you select your relevant option, you can click next, and then it will ask you certain information like add unit name, add format is already there, add type. So if it does support different types, media types, you can select from here. Here for the banner, it only support image, so only images appearing. And then under the advanced setting, you can set your eCPM based on your requirement. Now, once you set up all of this information, you can click submit. Finally, you will see the add slot ID right here. So under your app, these are the different ad format already added by the developer, and the ad format is also mentioned right here. Each ad format have a dedicated ad slot ID, which is mentioned right here, and it will also show you the status. So you can enable this, you can disable this. By default it is enabled. You can go and disable it. At the same time, if you want to change, let's say, the media type or the media itself, you can click on edit and modify the ad. So till this part, actually you are ready to integrate the ads kit inside your mobile app. Before moving to code part, let me recall very quickly. You have to make sure that you have an app inside AGC. Then you must have an app inside Ads Publisher console. Then inside your app, you must have ad slot ID based on the type of ad you want to integrate. So for today, we will be working with interstitial and splash ad. And now I will move to the coding part. If you have any questions, please write in the comments below. So for today, we will start similarly like workshop 2 and workshop 1. First, we'll open developer.huawei.com, and here you will see two different options. The first one is the mobile developers, and the second one is the cloud and AI developers. Under the mobile developers, we have visit the website button, and this is the relevant option to us. So once we click on it, we will navigate to this screen where we have relevant other information. And for the detailed information, I already covered in workshop number 1, so you can refer to workshop number 1. So here our today's topic is actually Huawei Ads Kit. So under products, HMS Core, you will see the Ad Kit option, Ads Kit. So let's click on it. It will actually navigate you to the Ads Kit landing page with all the relevant information about the Ads Kit, and we are more than interested in the documentation, so we will click on View Documents. Now this will navigate us to the documentation, official documentation of Ads Kit with a lot of information about integration, different steps, the publisher service, and so on. So it's highly recommended that you should actually navigate to this documentation and try to read from here. Sometimes during integration you have some results code and you are not sure what does that mean. So we have the result code portion here as well, which actually tell you what actually the result code means and what does they refer to. So here everything is mentioned, and you can follow the relevant options. Let's say for the Android, Java, and Kotlin, each these are the results code and these are the values, so you can actually understand what is the issue. Sometimes there is no ad, or maybe your ad ID, which we will see later how to create it. It's not perfectly fine, or within the ad ID that you created there is no ad, or sometimes your network is not very stable, so you will see this result code, which means then it's a network error. So for today, what we will do similarly like our previous two workshops, we will try to follow the code lab. And for the code lab, what you have to do is to, under the community, click on code lab, which will take you to a landing screen, something like this. And here you can see you can navigate from HMS Core this portion, or you can simply write ads here. So after searching for ads, you will see all the code labs related to ads will appear here. In total, there are 20 results appearing here, and you can see there are different type of ad types are covered here. Let's say rewarded ad, native ad, banner ad, role ad, and so on. And for today, what we are going to cover is actually two different types. The first one will be splash ads for Java, and the second one will be interstitial ad for Java. And we will cover both of these in today's workshop. If your requirement is, let's say, rewarded ad or any of the other ad format, you can actually follow the relevant code lab. So let's get started with the splash ad. Let me open this, and it's right in front of here. So there are total 9 steps to complete the splash ad integration, and in total it required 37 minutes. And it starts the introduction. We have already seen the introduction about a splash. So splash ads are displayed immediately after an app is launched, even before the home screen of the app is displayed. So that's actually the first screen of the app, and that's why actually it is named as splash ad. And here is the rest of the information, like what you will create. So you will use the Huawei Ads SDK to load a splash ad, customize the ad style, and display it in your app. At the same time, you will learn how to integrate Huawei Ads Kit into your mobile app. At the same time, you will also learn how to load and display a splash ad. So that's the introduction. Let's move to our next step, which is what you will need. Here, actually two type of requirements are listed, hardware and software. For hardware, you need a Huawei phone or a non-Huawei phone. You can see the relevant information. And for the software requirement, you need Android Studio 3.x or later with minimum SDK 19 or later, and compile and target SDK 31 as recommended. At the same time, please make sure your Gradle version should be 4.1 or later. And the HMS Core version is quite important. So if you're using Huawei phone, you must have HMS Core app already installed, and you can actually see its version by navigating to device settings, then search for apps, and inside apps again search for apps, and inside the final apps folder you will search for HMS Core. Once you navigate to HMS Core detail settings screen, you will be able to see the version, right? Like this. So that's all about step 2, and now let's proceed with to our next step, which is initializing a project. And we have already seen how to do it in our previous workshop, but today as well I will follow all the steps. If you have any questions, you can write in the comments below, and for sure we will take up at the end of this session. Let's say if you're watching this video later on as well, you can still contact us through various channels which are mentioned within this workshop. So please contact us, and we would love to support you or answer all of your queries and concerns regarding any of the HMS SDK integration. So now let's move with our third step, which is initializing a project. And first we have to create an Android Studio project. So let me open my Android Studio. All right, so my Android Studio is opened, and as usual, we have to create a new project, and we have to click on this button to create a new project. So let me create a new project, and it will ask you to select some relevant information as we are working with mobile app. So we will select phone and tablet. At the same time, there are different options to create a new project as a template, but I will select no activity for now. I will click on next, and here is the project name that I have to keep. So let me say ads workshop 3, and here is the package name. As I mentioned earlier, there is a naming convention, so which actually generally follow com dot followed by the company name, dot followed by the project name, dot followed by the application name that we have. And then you have to select the location where you want to save this project. So for this, I will just simplify the package name. Let me remove the workshop from here, let's say. So I will keep it com.yasser.ads workshop 3, and as we are working with Java, so I will keep it as Java. The minimum SDK I am trying to keep here will be 21. You can select any, but you have to make sure you follow the introduction or what you need requirements, the software requirements. So once you are done, you can click on finish. It will take some time to create and sync the default libraries of Android. So now here, let's wait for a while. So the project is now already synced, and for better visibility, I will change the view to project. And here are the different folders that we see, and everything looks fine. The Java package is completely empty at the moment, and again, we don't have any layout files. So now let us navigate back to our code lab and see what are the next required steps. So here we have already created an Android Studio project. Then we have to configure Huawei Ads SDK repo and dependency packages. So for me, I'm using Gradle version 7. If you are using earlier than 7 or 7.1 or later, you can follow the relevant steps or documentation. For me, we have this one. So first I have to actually open my project level. Let me zoom in a bit. So first I have to open project level build.gradle, and add a Maven repo, which is right here. So let me copy this code from here. Let me go to my project level build.gradle, which is right here. And under this, I have to add Maven right here. Okay, sounds good. So next I have to open project level settings.gradle file, and here I have to add again within the repositories tag, I have to add this Maven repo path. So this is my settings.gradle file, and under repositories I have to add this. So sounds good. Moving forward to the next step, let me zoom out a bit. So these steps I already completed very immediately. The next step is actually configure the dependency package in build.gradle file in the app level and replace version for this. But again, before this, we have to add our class path. We have to add and apply the plugin ID for HUAWEI SDKs, and I think those are not mentioned right here. So let us mention this first. um, so I copied this part, and they said app level build.gradle. So let's it's right here under the dependencies. I paste this version, and for the version they ask us to open this version change history. So let us right click on it, try to open it in a new tab, and try to look for the version. And here you have to make sure that the ads library light SDK is been used here. So you can see there are three different type of SDKs listed. The first one is the light, the second one is the consent, and the third one is the prime. And these are the information about each of the SDK listed above. So you can actually follow or integrate the one that is required based on your requirement. So for us, we are actually following Ads Lite, and for the Ads Lite, the latest version is 13.4.55.302. So let me copy this and let me come back to my Android Studio and paste it right here. And that I completed this step, and then they are asking us to sync, but I'm sure this dependency will not be fine because we haven't added our class path. So we will see it very shortly. But before moving to our next part, we have to make sure that we added the right obfuscation scripts. So this is something really important in case you are trying to build a released or a sign APK or AAP file. And you enable the minify, or you enable the shrink of the resources. So some of the libraries will be renamed, and some of the resources will be moved from their original package or location to another package. And if that so happened, the app will not be able to deobfuscate those files, and it will give us error. It can be runtime error. Sometimes maybe your application compiled perfectly fine, and sorry, it can be compile time error, or sometime your application compiled perfectly fine, and while the users are using the app, there is a crash. So in order to avoid all of this, we have to add some scripts. So let's copy this, and we have to add it in the rules.pro file. So it's located right here, and within the app level we have ProGuard rules dot profile. So let me open this and paste all of the relevant scripts right here. So that's by this actually I completed step 2 of our primary code lab, but still the configuration is missing. We haven't did our plugin ID, haven't completed our AGC configuration, we haven't completed the enabling of different SDKs on the console, and so on. So for the rest of these steps, I will go back to our another code lab, which is preparation for integrating HUAWEI HMS Core. This code lab actually we already covered in workshop 1 and workshop 2 as well. You can search for this within the code lab, or you can search it uh, and through the search engine, or on our official website you will be able to find it. So let's follow all the steps mentioned here. The first step is, first we have to create a project and app in App Gallery Connect, and for this actually we have to open this App Gallery console or connect, and then we have to sign in. Once we sign in, we have to add a new project. After adding a new project, we have to add a new app, and while adding the app, we have to select the relevant platform and information. Then we will be able to see some of the information and so on. So let's complete this step on the console itself. So this is the console. I will click on sign in button, and it will ask me to sign in with my Huawei developer ID. If you don't have a Huawei developer ID by now, please register, because that's the first step to be a part of HMS ecosystem. So I already have a Huawei developer ID, and I have a Huawei phone as well. So if you have a Huawei phone, you don't have to write or wait for the OTP. All you have can do is navigate to your settings, click on Huawei ID to scan and log in. So I'm doing this now. So I already scanned the QR code, and it will just redirect me to the dashboard or to the landing page of AGC that we have. So this is the page, this is the landing page which all the developers see. And here are different options like my apps, my projects, and different. So we will first click on my projects, let's say, and it will load here, and it will show us all the previous project that we created. Our target is to create a new project. So let's click on add project. As I explained earlier, project is like a skeleton which hold different applications. So let's say if you have a debug version, a staging version, and a production version of one particular app, and you want to keep same settings for all the versions that you have, so you can create a one project, and you can create all of these three apps inside this project. And the API settings are actually applied to the project itself, not to the application. So if you enable, let's say, add kit inside your project, it will be enabled for all apps inside the same project. So for our today's workshop, as we are working with ads, so let me keep it workshop 3. Let's keep it like this. So let's click on finish, and it will take us to the AGC console with more relevant information. Here you can see we don't have any app at the moment, so let's follow our code lab and create or add an app. So let's click on add on app. So once you click on add app option, it will show you different things like the platform, Android, iOS, web, quick app, Harmony OS, and the device type. So as we are working with Android and mobile phone, so we will keep these two selected. Here you can keep the name of the app. So for our today's workshop, I will keep workshop 3 ads. Okay, and the package name should be same as what we already created. So I will navigate back to my Android Studio, and from the build.gradle, I will copy the value of application ID from here, and I will paste it right here. In the app category, I will select the app, and in the default language, I will select English, and I will click on OK. So the app is successfully created, and it show us some of the steps like the setting up the SDK. We will skip these because we have to first enable the relevant APIs, and then we will add this agconnect-services.json file in our app level folder. So moving forward, let me click finish here, and we are back to our details project settings screen. Now before moving forward, first we have to enable the data processing location. So let's click on enable, and it will open us this pop-up. And here I already talked about we have to select Singapore, and let's try to keep it as default, because for our region Singapore server is the nearest one. If you select the rest of the servers, it's perfectly fine as well, but there might be some latency in receiving the data on the dashboard. So the most optimum one for you to select is Singapore if you are based in MEA countries. So let me proceed by clicking OK, and here the data processing location is perfectly fine here. Now let's go to our next part, which is the manage APIs. So once you click on it, it will show you the list of APIs, and from here you can write ads. So here you can see there is no particular API to enable for ads. It means everything is perfectly fine from here. Now the next thing we have to do is to under the earn we can see HUAWEI ads. So let's click on HUAWEI ads, and it will take us to the publisher uh, service or publisher website. Now this I already talked about in the presentation as well. In order to consume any of the monetization related SDKs or services, you must have merchant service enabled. And how to enable this, we already saw in the presentation. Again, if you have any questions regarding this, you can actually ask us in the comments below, or you can write to us through various channels. You can also join our Facebook group or WhatsApp support group for quick support from our experts. Since my merchant services is not enabled, so I cannot create a real ad slot ID, which we already saw in our presentation. But for you, in order to proceed further, what you can do is you can go to merchant service and then upload your bank information and fill all the relevant information and submit for verification. Once your verification is passed, you will be able to proceed with the merchant service uh, services like ads publisher console, through which you can actually create ads, create the slot ID, and so on. So moving back to our project settings, now let's go back to our general information and try to download ag connect.services.json file. But before moving forward, let's follow our documentation. So we have already covered all the steps till here. The next step is to asking us to create an Android Studio project. So we have already done it, so I will skip this one. The third step is generating a signing certificate, and for this we have to do the same thing that we did in our previous workshop. So let me navigate back to my Android Studio, and from here I have to actually um, create generate signed, and from here I will say next, and here I have to create new. So the path for this I will try to keep it, um, let's say I will keep it this one, and here I will write workshop 3 key. Let's try to keep this, and let me copy this. So okay, and the password I'm setting is android #123 android #123 You can keep anything, and I'm keeping the alias name same as the key store name. You can keep anything, you can keep any password, but you have to make sure the password should be hard to guess yet very easy for you to remember. You have to fill all the relevant information right here, like your name, and here you can write your city, here you can write your province, and here you can write your country, and you can say click OK. Now this will actually this generated our key store file. Now let's actually try to navigate to this path, and for this let me open my command prompt and let me go to this path. Oh, it's always should be the working directory, so I am right here. Now from here I have to run this let's say command to see my fingerprint. And what is the command? We already saw it before. If you already have a Java home and you let's say Android home already configured, you can directly write this command. If your Java home is not configured, you can first navigate to this folder, and then you can actually do this, run this command. So let me copy this and let me paste it right here. So here we have to actually keep the file name. So my file name is actually right here, which is workshop 3. So I click on it, and it is asking for me the password that I select at entered earlier, and this is the SHA 256 that we need. So here are rest of the information is already there. So moving forward, let me copy this SHA 256 and come back to my AGC and add it right here. Now this is something really important. You have to make sure that all the key store you are using inside your app for different variants, you have to generate the SHA 256 for each of these key store and add it right here. If you miss any of these, let's say if you have multiple environment, and for each environment you have a different key store, you have to make sure that each key store HHD 256 fingerprint is added right here. Otherwise, the handshake between the client, which is the HMS SDK on the client side, will not be able to be succeeded with the server side, and it will throw an error in the logs, which is a fingerprint error. So once we already set up all the relevant things, we can see what are the next steps pending from our side. We have already completed this, and we have already completed this as well, and we have already enabled our APIs. And in case of ads, we there was no much actually things to do. We have already completed these steps as well, but we haven't completed the class path. So let me copy this code and go back to my they are asking to go to um, this class path is actually project level build.gradle. So let me cancel this, go to project level build.gradle, and here I can target to the latest version. Here we have a latest version as well. I'm not syncing right now, so let's see what are the next steps. So these we already completed, we haven't completed this. So for my case, this is the right way to apply the plugin. So let me go to the app level build.gradle file and apply the plugin. Now we have completed all the steps, so let me click on next. And so this is actually asking us to mention the signing information inside the project to avoid missing of the key store file later on. And this is always a good practice to mention all the signing config inside your build app level build.gradle to avoid some conflicts. If you have, let's say, multiple team members working on the same project, again, this is very good practice to mention all of it inside the same project. So let me put it right here. Now again, my file is not here, so I have to copy the file and put the name here, but the key alias name is the same as the file name, which I don't remember right now. The password I have to mention here, and I have to make sure this is all done. At the same time, I missed this tag, so let me copy it again actually and paste it right here. So this will go something like this, and then after that I have to mention something like this as well. So let me copy all of this from here, and inside the build.types I have to mention the files. So you can see this is the code which is being added, and here before there was no debug, so we added the debug. Now let's say if you have a debug uh, key store different than the one that you have for release, so you can keep, let's say, two versions here, debug, and you can keep it here as a release. Now for this you can write as debug, so debug version will refer to debug version. Oh sorry, we haven't mentioned debug here, so let me debug here. So yeah, debug version will refer to debugs key store, and release version will refer to release key store. And that's actually a very good practice to keep, and both of these file inside your app folder. So still we are missing the file, so let me copy the file and paste it here. Alright, so I have copied the file. Let me paste it inside the app folder. This is the file name, and let me copy the file name, and it's right here. And I have to go again to the build.gradle file and have to make sure the file name is fine, the key alias name is also fine, and I think now we are good to go. So I'm using the same one key store file for both versions, which is debug and release. If you have a different, let's say, key store files, you can specify the relevant information right here. So now I think we have already set up all the relevant information. Now if we click on next, I think, yeah, we have to now synchronize the project and we are done with the configuration. So let's click on the sync and wait for a while, complete the synchronization. At the same time, you can actually go to build and try to clean and then rebuild to make sure everything is fine, all the configuration is fine, all the libraries that we included are being downloaded perfectly, and everything is working fine. So the sync is already done. Let me do rebuild, and here actually it will try to download some files. Oops, we got one error, and this error is actually asking us Java 11. So to fix this, we have to go to file, go to settings, and here in the search you can search for Gradle, and here in the Gradle you can change the version to 11 and click on apply. OK. So now it will try to sync again. So let us try to click on rebuild, and here our building is in progress now. So let's wait for a while until the build is completed. So my build Gradle is now finished, and I think we are done with the configuration part. So this is all completed. Let us go back to our main code lab, which is right here. So we have completed all the steps till here. Now we will proceed with the next step, which is actually creating a layout for a splash ad. So for this, they have actually mentioned activity underscore splash, and we have to create something called a layout directory as well if we don't already have it inside our folder. So let's go back to our project and do some actions there. So first, what I will do, I will try to create the activity class. So within the uh, package name, I will right click, go to new, and I will say activity, and here I will select, let's say, empty activity, and the activity name I will keep it splash activity, right? And the layout file for this will be activity underscore splash, and I'm asking Android Studio to generate a layout file for me, and yes, I want to keep it as a launching activity. So I will check this mark and I will click on finish. All right, so activity is just created, and we already have an activity underscore splash layout file, which is, you can see it from here as well. You can navigate to res, which is a resource folder. Under resources, we have layout folder, and within layout folder, we have the relevant file. So let me open this activity underscore splash and switch the view to the split screen. In here, it's completely blank. And what we have to do is to copy all of these things mentioned um, in our code lab and paste it right here. So let me select all and paste it right here. Now you can see there are a couple of information missing, like a string right here, and here are the different layout files. If you notice, what are these files? So we have the main parent layout as the relative layout. Within this, we have a relative layout and a splash view. Now this view is actually from the HUAWEI HMS Ads SDK, and which will actually be used to show the splash ads that we will have. And we are not showing it as a full screen, rather we are showing the logo of the app, and below this, which means this part is actually the logo of the app. You can see it right here, and above this we have the splash ad that we will see. And here the only missing thing that we have is actually the copyright information, so which is sort of a string, and it's already mentioned right here. We have to paste all of these strings within the string.xml. Here there are two very important strings. So let me first copy it and then let me explain it what these strings refer to. So let's go to values and then let's go to string.xml and try to paste it inside here. Now we already have an app name, so we don't need an app name. Rest we have some of the information like copyright text, the status of the ad, either it is successfully loaded or not, the status of the ad in case of a failure and in case of a dismiss. So these may be used to show the status to the user in the tutorial. Of course, in the practical application you don't have to mention these status, rather you can print it or send it in the form of analytics for your analytical data. So here, if you notice, we have two major things right here, which is the ads ID splash and ads ID splash landscape. So this is actually the slot ID which will generate using your publisher console, ad publisher console, but which you can only access after enabling your merchant service. So as a developer, there are three major steps to be a part of Huawei developer ecosystem. The first one is you have to create your Huawei developer ID. The second one is you have to verify your Huawei developer ID. And the third one is you have to enable the merchant service. Now, this is the step that you must create, and I already walked through our presentation today. You can, if you're watching this video, you can again go back and see how to actually enable or verify your merchant service. So once you enable your merchant service, you will then have access to Huawei Ads Publisher Console, through which you can create an ad ID or ad slot ID. And all of these have already been explained by me earlier within this workshop. So these are the test IDs that we are going to use today to make sure our configuration, our setup everything is perfectly done. And now let's back to our um, code lab, and you can see here as well. There is a caution mentioned here which says we are using testing splash ads to test actually the test ads, but for you should use formal ad unit or ad slot ID generated from your own console. So moving forward, let's click on next. Now we have already completed some of the information right here. So we are on the fifth step where we have to define some of the code within our activity. So we already created a splash activity and we have this code. Now we have to initialize the ads SDK, and it's very simple to initialize. All we have to write inside the onCreate method of the activity. After this setting the content view, we have to actually copy this from here and paste it right here. So hwads.init will actually initialize the Huawei Ad Kit, HMS Ad Kit. Now, after doing this, we have to make sure we modify our um, manifest file as well to make the activity as the default launching activity. Which we already did actually, and we must have another activity. So after the splash screen, when the ad is successfully finished, the user will be navigate to other home screen of the application. So for this, what we will do, we will create another activity right here. So let me go new activity, let me say empty activity, and this I will keep it as main activity, or you can say, let's say, home activity, which will be displayed after the splash activity is finished. And here, this will not be my launching activity. I will keep it as another activity, the second activity of the application, not the launching one. So let me click on finish. Now we have another home activity right here. Everything is getting synced, and here there are different options here as well. You can see the orientation is actually the config changes is set to handle the orientation and the screen size, and we are actually referring to the theme of the full screen without the title bar. for this particular activity. So let us copy this code piece of code from here, and let us go to android.manifest file and paste it right for our splash activity right here. And the rest of the things are already done, right? So let us move to our next part, which is loading a splash ad. So for this, we have some piece of code right here. What we can do is we can first copy the whole code and paste it inside our activity. And then later on, we will see what does this code actually mean and how the splash ad is working in action. So let me copy all of it till here, let's say. Yeah. So till here, I have copied everything. I will go back to my splash activity. I will delete everything and I will paste it again from the beginning. Now here you can see some of the imports are missing. So let us first import all the missing uh, classes. So this is missing. And to import something really quickly, you can select file, click Alt and enter. It will show you an option to do. So I'm doing the same for each of the missing file. We can see we have actually managed to import many of the file already, and as we are progressing, the red errors are vanishing. So here there are actually two files inside the drawable folder, but unfortunately we don't have it, so we will see it shortly. Let's skip this and try to bring the import for rest of the files which are missing. So I think we are just left with this one, and here uh, jump means it will go to the next activity, and in our case the name of the next activity is not main, rather it's home. So you can keep the name as you want. Now let's quickly have a look at what does this code is doing. So the first method we have, the first handler we have here is actually timeout handler, which will, after the splash activity is done, let's say showing the splash ad, it will jump. It will call the jump function. Inside the jump function, we have something called has paused. So we are making sure if the ad is not paused, or we will say it's paused, and then we will start a new activity, and we will try to make sure that we will finish the existing activity. So the next code that we have on top is actually the splash view, which is actually from the layout file itself. Then we have splash add load listener. So within this we have multiple callback functions like on add loaded, on add failed to load, on add dismissed, and so on. So within all of these, we are showing some relevant pop-ups or relevant information. We have already mentioned this string inside the string.xml file. So in case it's loaded successfully, we will show loaded successfully pop-up. If it is failed, we will say failed to load, and at the same time we are printing the error code for our references in the log cap. And then in the on dismiss, so it means the ad is successfully shown to the user and it is now being dismissed successfully. So in that case, we have to again call the jump function. So then we have add display listener, which means we will use it to display the ads. So it has two callback methods and we are not doing anything on this. Then we have the on create method of the activity. Within this, first we initiated the HUAWEI ad HMS ad kit, and then we call the function which is load ad. Now in the load ad, we have some sort of function right here, which means first we are setting the orientation, then we are getting the orientation, and then based on the orientation we will display if the screen is in horizontal uh, or let's say landscape orientation, we will show the landscape ad that we created. Or if the screen is in portrait, so we will show the portrait ad that we created in the publisher console. So after getting the orientation, we are getting the relevant slot ID from our strings. So we have two slot ID, one is for portrait, one is for landscape. And then we are setting the logo, and then we are setting the resource type, then we are setting the media type, then we are setting the audio focus type, and eventually we are calling the load function of the view, splash view, which is taking the slot ID, the orientation, the params, and the add load listener that we already defined above. And then we have the timeout handler and so on. And this function is just to get orientation. You can skip it, and if you are pretty sure, if let's say your application is only supported portrait, so you will always show the portrait ad, you don't need this piece of code. Or vice versa, if your application always work with landscape, you don't need this piece of code, and you can hard code the orientation to be landscape. And then we have overridden rest of the activity functions like on stop, where we are making sure to stop all the relevant handlers. Then on restart, on destroy, on pause, on resume, and so on. So we have actually pasted all the relevant code into this, and this piece of information is also talking about what I just mentioned. So if your app does not automatically adapt to device screen orientation, you can fix it based on your preferences, and you can read more here. Now the next step is talking about displaying the splash ad. So for this, you have to run the project, and once you run it, you will be able to see something like this with the timer on top. And this is the splash ad. So once the ad is successfully loading, finished loading, it will jump to our second activity, which is the home screen. So let's see this in action. Let me first build the project, or before building, we have a couple of errors here. So they need some different slogans. So here, from where we can get it, it's pretty simple. We can go to references, and we can go to our, oops, okay, so let me open the GitHub page, and within this we have actually source, then main. Within the resources drawable folder, we have these two slogan files. So download these files and place it inside the resource drawable file, and then try to rebuild the project and eventually run the application. So let me do it very quickly. So I have pasted both of these files right here, and you can see my error is just gone. Where is my splash class? So let me close all of these and go to this. So there is no more error. So what I can do is I can try to rebuild the project, and once it's rebuilt, let me run the application to see it in action on the phone itself. So let me run the application. So my app is now running. Let me do this, but um I think I missed something really important. I have to place AG Connect as services file. So let me first download this file and paste it inside my app folder. You have to make sure the name should be as is without any additional information. And let me run the app again and see the application in action. So it sometimes it take time depending upon the code that you have. Sometimes it's very quick. So the basic idea of this code lab is, once the user open the app, they should see the ad first, and after finishing the ad, they should be navigated to the home screen of the application. So let me install the app, open it, and you can see the ad is now running with an option skip in 2 3 1 seconds. And once the app is finished loading, it automatically navigated to the home screen. And I think our code is working perfectly fine, and we were actually right here. Yeah, so this is how we saw the code, and I think it's perfectly fine. So we are done with this step. Now if we go to our next step, which is the displaying the splash ad, so we have completed this. Now congratulations, the splash ad integration is now completed, and we already saw it in action. And let me close the app and open it again to show you. Now this is the app, ad that you are seeing, and there is a sound here as well. So if I enable the sound again, so let me open the volume, close this, and but you have to make sure this is actually the test ad. It's it's not a real ad because we are using the test slot ID. So till this point we have completed the integration for splash ad. And if you have any questions, you can write in the comments below, or you can reach to us through different channels that we already mentioned. At the end of this workshop as well, we will show you some important QR codes. You can join our Facebook group, you can join our WhatsApp group for instant support. So that's all for the splash ad integration. Now let's move to our second integration, which is the interstitial ad integration. So let me close or let me close this code lab, yeah, and open the other code lab, which is for interstitial ad. So let's see what are the requirements here. Here again, the first page is about introduction. So what are the ad type and what you will learn in this code lab. The next is the what you need, the software and the hardware requirement. And here also you have to make sure the HMS core version. Then later on you have to initialize the project, which we already completed. If you are integrating this ad format from scratch, you have to follow all the mentioned steps. I will skip it because I already completed it as a part of splash ads. So here they are asking us to initialize the ad kit again, and within the main activity. So for us, we have actually the home activity. So let me copy this piece of code and open the home activity from here and paste this code right here. Bring the import which is missing, and let's get back to our code lab. So in the code lab, the fourth step is now completed. The next step is we have to actually copy these piece of code. Again, you need interstitial ad ID. In our example, we will be using the test ones, which are mentioned right here. So we have actually two type of ads, the image type. For this, you can use this ID, and for the video, you can use this ID. So let me copy this piece of code and paste it in our Android Studio. So let's paste it right here. So we are missing with some inputs here again. This is a local class instance variable. So let me put it here as well. So it must be of inter. Okay. So let me remove this extra line of code, and here we have actually two strings. We can define these manually in our strings.xml file, or we can copy paste from the GitHub repo. So let me do it manually. For the image, we have actually this value. So let me go to our strings. Control D will copy this piece of line as a duplicated, and this is our image test ad slot ID. And for the same, we have one for the video, which is actually this one. So it's up to you, whatever type of ad you want to show, you can actually create. And here I can see there must be some radio button. Based on the user preference, the relevant ad type will be shown. So let me remove this. We are not going to modify any UI file, so let me keep this as it is, let's say. And here only one written is possible, so let us first see the image, and then later on we will see the video. So we have completed this step. Now let's go to our next part, which is load the ad. So let me copy this again and paste it right here, and I can see this is already defined here. So let me remove the previously defined method or function and bring the relevant imports. And I can see the ad listener is missing. So here is the ad listener. So let me copy this ad listener from here. Oops. So let me copy it like this and paste it on top of the class, which is right here. So again, some of the imports are missing. Let us add them very quickly. This is not a home activity, rather we have named it as home activity, and we have one function called show ad, which is again missing. So I haven't defined it here yet, and it is asking for some private. So private final string this tag, which will be home activity dot class dot get simple name, right? And we are done. Now we are left with one function, which is show interstitial at. So let me copy this piece of code from here and paste it right here. Now here everything looks fine, everything is working fine, so I think we are good to go. But we can see we haven't actually loaded the ad. The load ad function is not been called. So there are two options. Let's say if you want to show this ad whenever user click on a certain button, so you can keep it something like that, or if you want to keep it directly showing to the user whenever they navigate to this, it's up to you. So let me actually add a button very quickly in the layout. So let's do this. Let me change this to relative layout. You can use any layout as a parent, and here I will keep it as button. I will say wrap, and here I will say wrap. I will close the button. Here I will write the button ID as id bt and show ad. Okay, and the text I want to keep it will be show ad. I want to keep it in center, so center in parent and true. So let me take this button and define it right here in the on create. So button is equals to find view by id r dot id dot button, and here I will say button dot set on click listener. Here I will define the new listener, and within this I will say load ad. Now load ad will be called, and after the ad is loaded it will call the listener, and within the success we have mentioned to show the ad. So everything will work perfectly fine as shown right here. So let us run this code and see the other ad as well in action. So our app is launched. Let me share the app screen. This is the show button. Let me click on the button, and once I click on it, the ad will be loaded, and this is how you will see. This is the interstitial ad which is successfully integrated, and here you can see there's a close button, and here there are different information like open. So you can click on the open, which will open the relevant ad type and so on, or the user can click on the close button to close this ad. Now, this was all about the integration of the interstitial ad type, and congratulations, you have successfully completed the second ad integration as well. So in our today's workshop, we covered actually two different type of ads. The first one was the splash ad, and the second one was the interstitial ad. Now what you can do is we have actually another type of ad, which is the video type of interstitial ad. So let me rerun the app with the video type of interstitial ad and see how does it look like in action. So it is asking me to accept the install first. Now you can see this is the splash ad which is loaded successfully. After the splash ad is completed, it navigate me to the home screen. Now on the home screen, I'm clicking on the show ad button to see the video version of interstitial ad. So let me click on show button, and now you can see the video is loading, and this is a video. So it depends, if let's say you have already created the ad slot ID in your ads publisher console, you will be able to see it right here. So this is how it works. Let me unmute it to see if the audio is working. It's perfectly working fine, and you can see the seconds here again, right? So everything is working fine. I think we are done with the coding part. If you have any questions, you can write in the comments below and we will take up at the end of this session. At the same time, you can connect with our experts through various channels, which we will show them at the end of this workshop as well. Please join our Facebook group or our WhatsApp group and ask a relevant question and get connected with our experts. So now we can move to our last part, which is the questions. So let me see if we have any questions. Yes, we have a couple of questions. So the first one is how an ad within app can increase the download rate of that particular app. So basically, I have discussed all the different ad formats already within this workshop, and so there are two different integration point. The first one is, as a developer, you integrate different ad format within your application to show different ads. Now, these ads from one of the advertiser or publisher who already publish ads on our ad platform, right? So as a developer, what you will get the 70/30 competitive revenue sharing, right, within 2020. So if you're not sure about it, you can still navigate to the first section of this workshop where I already discussed all of these. Now, the second part of the ad whole platform is publishing ad as publisher. Now, as a publisher, you can push your ad in any format. Rather, you want to, let's say, if you're looking to have more user engagement, you can create interstitial ad type. Different developers inside their application who already integrated ad kit interstitial type, they will be able to see your ad, and clicking on the button, it will actually navigate to your app download screen, let's say. So in the example I show you, there was a Huawei ad. Similarly, your ad will be there, and once user click on it, they will navigate to your website or to your landing page. So this is how it is working. Now, the next question we have is from the same person, which is, can we add ads in any type of app? Yes, you can. So that's why actually we have six different type of ads to cover all scenarios. If you are developing a game, we there are certain ad types or formats which you can integrate. At the same time, if you are working with an app, let's say e-commerce application or any application which have very heavy traffic, you can integrate banner ads and rest of the other ad format that we have. So yes, to answer your question pretty simply, the answer is yes, you can integrate in any type of application. That's not an issue. And for more information, again, you can write to us, or you can actually read our official documentation, which is developer.huawei.com. All the relevant information is already mentioned. The next question we have, can we use Div Echo Studio as well for integration? Well, that's a very intelligent question. Thank you so much for asking this. Yes, you can actually use Div Echo Studio. At the moment, Div Echo Studio is used to develop Harmony OS based application. And Harmony OS is all scenario operating system from Huawei itself. And yes, you can consume different HMS core open capabilities within Harmony OS as well. And among them, AdKit is one of them. So yes, you can integrate you and use Div Echo Studio for Harmony OS based applications. Again, to read more about this, you can navigate to our official website, which is developer.huawei.com. So the next question we have here is, can we integrate AdKit in Div? Yeah, so I already just answered this part. Yes, Div Echo Studio is used for Harmony OS based application development. You can learn more about Div Echo Studio on our official website, which is developer.huawei.com. Now, I think we don't have any further questions, so it's perfectly fine. Later on as well, you can join our Facebook group, or you can join our WhatsApp group, which is right here in the middle. So the leftmost QR code is for uh, This will take you to our landing page, which is to join Apps Hub 2022. And with this, you can actually participate in Apps Hub 2022. All you need is just your Huawei developer ID. If you don't have a Huawei developer ID, please register today, because that's the first step to be a part of developer ecosystem. In the middle, we have Apps Hub 2022 WhatsApp group. This group is dedicated for your support, for your quick to help you very quickly. You can ask all of your questions straight away. All the experts from Huawei are already there to support you. So you can scan this QR code and join now. And on the rightmost side, we have the developer community, which is our Facebook group. So you can also join our Facebook group today. And if you have any questions or if you want to learn different things, you can actually be active within the same Facebook group. So these are some of the important information. You can drop us an email at appsup.mia@huawei.com. At the same time, we have the Facebook group. Uh, Thank you so much for attending us today. And that's all from my side for today. Have a great day.